watching Mirror Prime with me, Shreya Upadhyaya on Mirror Now. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at these visuals on your screens. Different months of the year, different cities of India, same problem. One heavy spell of rain and the entire city comes to a standstill. Traffic jams, flooding, waterlogging, floating cars, rescued animals, naked electric wires causing deaths and collapsing bridges. Scenes that we all have experienced at some point in our lives. Monsoons are now on their way out, and Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Bengaluru, metropolitans in our country, were nowhere near smart cities this monsoon season. As for our elected leaders, from blaming each other, they have now moved to blaming climate change. Unprecedented rains this season seems to be their favorite line. Yes, there is climate crisis. Temperatures are rising, glaciers are melting. Rains are certainly becoming erratic and unprecedented, but shouldn't that be taken into consideration before we enter the monsoon season? Shouldn't the Met Department's repetitive warnings alert authorities to be proactive in stepping up measures to tackle such situations? Chennai and Bengaluru have been witnessing heavy rains, bringing residential neighborhoods and roads under knee-deep water and leading to traffic congestion, besides affecting public transport services. The Karnataka government announced a holiday for all schools and colleges in the tech capital today. The IMD has also declared an orange alert for Bengaluru. Before I bring in my guests on the show, take a look at these reports by my colleagues Dharani and Neha.
Well, since day before yesterday night, Chennai has been experiencing moderate to heavy rainfall. In fact, right now I'm standing in Pattalam area of Chennai. This is located in North Chennai. This particular area, Pattalam, is in North Chennai, and you can see in the visuals over here there is severe water stagnation and water logging, and the public from this particular locality, they are not able to use their two-wheelers or four-wheelers to go outside. Multiple two-wheelers and four-wheelers, they've got repaired because they were not able to pass through this particular passage, is what the residents in this locality are telling. So for the past almost 24 hours, the water stagnation in this particular area, it has not receded. When we spoke to the Chennai Corporation officials, they told us that it will take another 3 or 4 hours for them to remove the stagnated water from this location. So in most of the areas across the Chennai city, the Chennai Corporation workers, they worked 24/7. They worked all through the night to clear the stagnated water. But as far as areas like Pattalam, Puliyandop, etc. are concerned, which are majorly part of the North Chennai region, the stagnated water has not been removed in in these areas, and it is causing a huge inconvenience for the public. They are not able to go out, they are not able to venture out to buy essential food and medical supplies, because especially for those who are elderly, it is very tough for them to venture outside in this knee level and knee deep water, is what they are telling. In fact, Tamil Nadu's HRNC Minister Shekhar Babu, he had visited this location a couple of hours back, and he had assured the people of Pattalam that in the next 3-4 hours maximum, the water will be cleared, and that the normalcy will return. But let's wait and see. But as far as the IMD predictions are concerned, a red alert has been issued for 4 districts: Chennai, Kanchipuram, Tiruvallur and Chengalpattu. Since today morning, we have not seen much rains in these 4 districts, but the IMD has told that only as the day passes by, the rains will start. It's a downpour, so we have to wait and see. But the corporation says they are well prepared to tackle this monsoon rains, and tomorrow morning, the depression that is currently centered in the Bay of Bengal, that will be crossing the coast near Chennai. Right now, this depression is centered about 440 kilometers from Chennai. So tomorrow morning, that is the morning of October 17th, this depression will cross the coast between Chennai and Puducherry, is what the IMD has told. And at that time, the rainfall and the wind speed will be very high.
Heavy rains continue to batter Bengaluru city, and in an apartment that we're at right now in Yelahanka area of the city, you'd be able to see the manner in which the entire apartment has been waterlogged. People are in fact picking up their belongings here, just managing to be evacuated from their homes with the help of tractors that have now been called in. Remember, teams of the fire services, the NDRF, SDRF also in fact have been pressed into action over here at the apartment. We'll of course keep bringing you these visuals of residents being rescued and evacuated from inside. Let's quickly get in a word here. Sir, I want to ask you, how bad has the situation been?
Yeah, since past couple of days it has been very much horrible. the water, I think in the next 2 days it is going to rise more. So I think that's why it is safe for all of us, especially since we are having kids, to move away from this place. Okay. And the power is not there, so we have no power backup. Our phones and laptops have gone dead. So we have to manage and find out an alternative place.
Okay. Ma'am, if I can ask you, two little kids that you all have, how have the past 24 hours been? How have you been managing? And if I can ask you, where are you off to now?
Yeah, it is very difficult. So that's why we are planning to move out from here to my brother's place, so that at least we are safe and we can start our work.
All right, so there is, of course, a lot of introspection that we all need to do, and we're flashing our numbers on the screen. You can call in and share your own experiences. All of us have gone through some kind of experience, some kind of frustration due to lack of basic infrastructure in our cities. On the broadcast, I'm joined by Jaya Dhindo. She's Executive Program Director, Sustainable Cities at WRI. Anu Lall, citizen activist, also joins us. And Sandeep Anirudhan, founder, Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru, joins us. Good evening. Namaskar to all of you. Before I start this discussion with you, we have a caller joining us at the moment. Captain Jaspal is joining us from Rohtak. Good evening, Captain Jaspal. Please go ahead.
Good evening to you. Good evening to your panel. You see, the point is, it has got three aspects. A, long term, where the encroachment areas and the capacity should be increased. Second is annual maintenance, where there is a corruption and total corruption. And third aspect, where UP, where the mirror now is expert and has got known for its integrity, is to launch a campaign, any death due to apathy, minimum compensation should be 5 crores, which can be recovered from the MCD or the ministers concerned under the Land Revenue Act. Until unless this campaign is launched, these jokers will never last. Thank you.
Okay, Captain Jaspal, thank you very much for calling in at Mirror Now and sharing your thoughts and, of course, the kind of frustration that we all go through. Sandeep Anirudhan, let me start with you. You're from Bengaluru, and it's absolutely frustrating. I mean, just to talk about the traffic woes is a different conversation, but the rains adding to those woes is absolutely frustrating, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, the very same reasons that contribute to the traffic congestion are the same reasons which contribute to the flooding. Fundamentally, the problem with the city is that it does not have planning. And due to lack of planning and governance, we have a complete breakdown of the city's administration. And this is just getting worse and worse. We are crying hoarse, and nothing seems to affect our politicians. See, fundamentally, all of this goes, the root of the problem is that the Constitution has prescribed a planning authority for the city in the 74th Amendment, which was passed in 1992. 32 years on, we still do not have the planning authority for the city. Therefore, nobody is doing master planning. We don't have a master plan for the city, which can take diverse factors into account and plan and zone the development areas of the city, also maintaining the environment, the wetlands. The water has to flow somewhere. We get almost 25 TMC of water through rains, Bengaluru. It's actually fortunate. But the unfortunate thing is the city is filled with idiots, because all of that water just flows out of the city because we destroyed our earlier reservoirs, which were around 2,000 lakes. So we are going through a phase of ignorance, total bureaucratic apathy, political ineptitude. I think bad days are on us, and I don't know what will correct the situation.
That's right. Reduced water spaces, Sandeep, deforestation, lack of green spaces, all sorts of reasons contributing to the kind of situation we're all in. But before I get in Jaya and Anu into this conversation, I'm joined by Murli from Karnataka. He's calling us. Murli, good evening, namaskar. Please go ahead.
I would like to say that this is a sheer apathy of the corporation and power people in the power. sitting at the helm, not doing anything. And it is repeated every year. It is not see once it is done and see something action is taken. No, it is happening more and more and more. Nobody is taking action. See, at least once they should try to finish up some area wherein such thing will not happen. So they should go on doing it in each area somewhere. They cannot do it at once, but they can try to do something better. No, every year it is the same picture, same, and they will come say that this is encroached, that is encroached. At least some good planning must be there, and all this water logging, should be given some path. Somewhere it should go and have the groundwater this thing, so that at least groundwater level also is increased.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody
There needs to
takes,
be,
action.
specific planning as far as these situations are concerned. Murli, thank you very much for calling in at Mirror Now. Let me take this across to you, Jaya. Why are we still playing catch up with climate change? Why aren't we 5 steps ahead of the kind of crisis that we are seeing and the kind of infrastructure that is needed to deal with this sort of crisis?
Yeah, so I think one thing is that this isn't a problem that has just come about overnight, right? It is basically cumulative bad decisions over many years that has led us to this place, and it's going to take quite a bit to undo it. The problem is known, right? The solutions are also known, but perhaps it merits reiteration, and why haven't we caught up with the problem is a good question. So I think one is the sprawling form of our cities. This is not just Bangalore or Chennai or any other place, but it's happening across cities. It is happening in India. It is happening globally, right? So when things start to recur at a certain pace, and when they start to proliferate, you have to kind of think about what are the underlying systems which are not working, and there are some systems which aren't working. One is our cities have sprawled in a way that new development largely has come up in areas with high recharge potential. So what is happening is when it rains and we get dumped with a certain amount, 60, 70 even in a city like Bangalore, the concretization is to an extent that there's no percolation capacity. The water has nowhere to go. There's no sort of drainage that is happening from natural systems. The second is that the infrastructure capabilities of cities, were designed way back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. They're very old. They were not designed for the kind of events that we are seeing these days. So then what's happening is increasing precipitation, low draining capacities, and compromise due to concretization in all the wrong places. Infrastructure capacities, but also what is there presently is in poor maintenance. So when we talk about stormwater drains and waste management in our cities, it's in a bad shape, and then all of that leads to what you're seeing is water logging, basically. So that is the sort of situation that we're saying. Why aren't we 5 steps ahead? It takes a good bit of planning. It takes a good bit of resources that you will need to dedicate to this. It needs long-term thinking. So while you can bring in band-aid approaches, you can start to pump out water, do all of that. But in the long run, you really need sort of long-term solutions like, plan for upgradation of infrastructure, carrying capacities, developing climate action plans which are coherent with development plans. Development plans need to be updated. Master plans need to look at, environmental resource layers,
doing it,
carrying
Jaya?
capacities.
Why aren't governments mulling over this when they know that such things are required? Is it too expensive? Is it too tedious? Is it too much of effort? I don't know what is stopping them from actually planning for the kind of crisis that we are seeing, and when we know that there are solutions and measures in place.
I think part of it also has to do with the fragmentation, right? If we just look at Bangalore's water cycle, and we had done a mapping of this and the kind of departments and who are the agencies responsible for this, right? There are about 25 different agencies managing Bangalore's and Karnataka's water cycle. Just think about it. The mandates are often fragmented or they overlap. And there isn't one entity which is supposed to look at, water risk, water security in the city. That is sort of the underlying problem, is this whole fragmentation that we have in our governance system. And that is something very hard to fix. So one department can easily say, this does not fall within my mandate. It is not my, work. And then so, you keep kicking the can down the road to some place where you don't kind of come up with the with the solutions you need. So this comprehensive approach, which we really need towards integrated water management in the city, for example, there are no takers, there are no keepers for that. There's no agency which can take that on and deliver on it. And that is the basic problem.
Okay. Okay, Anu, I'm going to come to you, but right now I'm joined by two callers from cities that have witnessed some extremely bad situations this monsoon season, Mumbai and New Delhi. Asha is joining us from Mumbai. Asha, good evening. Namaskar. Please go ahead.
You from flooded Mumbai. And you know what the government is doing? They are passing general resolutions how to make give more money back to us. They're using our money for winning elections. They're sitting in Mantralaya. They're sitting here and there. BMC has got crores of money, but they're sitting on it. They're outsourcing everything. They're giving 3% generous allowance to the government people. They're getting all consultants to come in. You know what is happening, no? It is happening in Delhi. They're blaming the Delhi local people, but the government is sitting in the government what you call it, the new parliament. This is what is happening. You will pick the whole cabinet and dump them in the flooded waters, then they will understand what the poor are going through, what the children are going through, how people are dying in manholes. This is what is happening. And 100,000 trees are being felled. I am ashamed. Please don't vote for this government. Don't vote in Bombay. Don't vote in Delhi. Just stop voting for this government till it stops. I don't want it here. The Prime Minister.
Yeah, you know, Asha ji, I absolutely understand. And I think, viewers who are listening to you, Asha ji, will also relate to what you're saying. There is palpable frustration among all of us citizens as to the kind of civic infrastructure and the failure of it that we have to deal with every monsoon season. Thank you very much, Asha ji, for calling us. Anil Sharma is joining us from the national capital. Anil ji, good evening. Namaskar. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Shreya. Actually, I was looking all over my TV, all the corners, if I could find Priyank Khadge or Brajesh Kadappa, who otherwise like to be on the television for very, very small things. You know, day after day, week after week, month after month, look at what the Karnataka government or the Delhi government, they are just trying to save themselves, absorb themselves from the corruption. Lower court, district court, higher court, Supreme Court, our money is being spent on court cases to absorb themselves from corruption instead of money being spent on the welfare of people. What can be single work after Arvind Kejriwal has come out from jail? What is he doing? Only trying to save himself or the party, not the people of Delhi. Look at
so what you're saying, Anil Sharma ji, is that money should be used in the welfare of the people and in strengthening the civic infrastructure in the national capital. Thank you very much for calling us, Anil Sharma ji, from New Delhi. Anu, you heard these callers. They are citizens of the country. They are frustrated, and these were just two callers, but they clearly represent most people in the country. Now, civic infrastructure is one thing, but the already existing ones are not maintained. For example, in the national capital, there were claims of desilting being done. There are several cities where desilting was done, but the silt was kept right there. So when the rain came in, it was flowing back into the drains. The drains were not clean. Why? I mean, the kind of situation we are in also has to do with a lot of how our civic infrastructure is maintained, and it's not maintained properly, clearly.
Yeah. Shreya, there is one word that comes to my mind seeing all this and every time, that is Niyat. Enough, as you said, enough knowledge exists, enough reports have been made. Is there Niyat to resolve this matter at all or not? And I find myself that, we are not able to ask that question, that who's responsible, who's accountable, because governments don't have that will. If there is a political will, there is a way. Because, it's not like these cities are under nobody. There are 800 districts in this country. Every district has an IAS officer, and down the line, a whole army of Sarkari officers. This cadre is literally the permanent cadre of this country. The governments need to make this cadre work. And every government is sleeping over these urban water issues. And the issues are the same, pretty much. Drains, potholes, illegal construction, builder mafia, the same. But these urban
But
taxpayer
Anu, you know
issues
what I'll
don't
tell
really
you?
matter to any
I'll
government.
tell you,
We
as
don't make
much
or
as we
break
can
elections.
blame the government and the authorities, I would also blame the urban voter. You know, just yesterday, the
But at
Election
the
Commission
end
held
of
a
the
press
day,
conference
we
where
don't
they
swing
announced the
any
dates
vote
for the
share.
state elections. They said there is urban apathy in places in Maharashtra, including Mumbai. Urban voters don't come out and vote, then they blame the governments that are elected. Urban voters are not asking the right questions when it comes to environment, when it comes to climate change. What are political parties doing? Do any of the urban voters know what political parties are carrying in their manifestos on environment and on tackling climate crisis? How many of them would know that?
See, that is like compounding a problem. Urban voters don't vote. That is a secondary problem. The first problem is that urban voters don't even count anywhere because we don't swing any vote share. So no party cares about us. It's easy to say that urban voters don't vote and that's the cause of the problem. That's actually a compounding factor of the problem. The thing, we just finished elections in Haryana. In any vote share calculation, we didn't matter. And for years, we've been raising these issues of urban infrastructure. I've been raising, a lot of people like me have been raising. Yet no BJP, AAP or Congress comes forward to do any kind of political activism with us because we don't matter. And at the end of the day, the governments don't act on our issues because we are just paying taxes and not really mattering in any equation. At the end of the day, any government wants to win the election. That is the be all and end all of things. And for that, they will act on issues which matter to them. And there is a process to do it. There is a huge cadre of Sarkari officers, there's a huge cadre of IAS officers who are trained to do this job. But there is apathy on their side because on the outcome, no political party is making this a mandate that, get this permanent cadre of officers to work. ये किसी के agenda में ही नहीं है. So I come back to the issue that there is no
Because
Niyat.
nobody is
There
putting
no
pressure on them, Anu. I understand what you're saying, but I beg to differ from you. You can't just, put the onus entirely on the government and the authorities. There is a responsibility that we have as citizens as well. But before I, carry on with this discussion, let me also get in Murli from Gurugram. He's calling us. Murli, good evening. Namaskar. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Shreya. I completely agree with Anu what she was saying in some of the points. See, one point I have a very different perspective in terms of a solution point of view is that the only way we can move forward from these IAS or other government control lobbies handling the cities is to corporatization of the city management itself. If we can do corporatization of the electricity supply, the water supply, the garbage cleaning, the Ganga cleaning, everything we can do that. Why can't we do a little bit more on the corporatization of the entire city management? That's one where their revenue generation is based on the level at which they are maintaining the city. Then automatically that corporate will take steps to do that one. If NHI, after the NHI has come in, the roads are becoming so good, etc., why can't we do that for city management? That's something possibly we can try it out, particularly with the smart city concept, etc., where the funds are being allocated. If you can do that, at least some segments start involving the local people also, citizen welfare associations in terms of asking questions about what's happening. Maybe that's a way out because we can blame everybody. We all know everybody is responsible for that. But a little bit more in terms of the solution, I thought this could be a possible solution forward.
All right, Murli, thank you very much for joining us at Mirror Now and sharing your perspective. Jay, I want to talk to you about this. What is the solution now? Murli mentioned smart cities, and we know smart cities are a vision that the government sees. But for example, China, they had a concept of spawn cities where they thought that rainwater could be absorbed and reused for several purposes. But that wasn't as effective as China thought it would have been. What's the way forward then?
So, it's not just about sponge cities. It is about looking at hybrid infrastructure, right, in cities. And yes, blue-green infrastructure has a huge role to play. So, having sort of urban commons, preserving your networks of blue spaces, water bodies in cities, preserving your green infrastructure in cities is very important, but you will also need gray infrastructure, piped infrastructure to kind of work in tandem with that. And we did some studies in Mumbai, right, to say that at the catchment level, if you're looking at avoiding flooding, can only blue-green infrastructure augmentation help? And we realized, no, it will have to be a hybrid solution. So I think the first thing that we really need to do is, look at data, because in many cities, we don't even know whether stormwater infrastructure exists, to what extent, how much is its capacity, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And so you can't manage what you can't measure. So we have to start with data. And then we have to start looking at, things like nature-based solutions, developing capacities to design these solutions and deliver these interventions, and then prioritize financing for these kind of solutions. And it's to me, all is not lost, because there are cities like Mumbai, there are cities like Bangalore, which have developed climate action plans where the blue, green, and hybrid infrastructure solutions are very central to the mitigation, to the adaptation strategies. And these are cities which are taking actions on those fronts and trying to see, how nature-based solutions can be integrated in mainstream infrastructure solutions as a way forward.
Yeah, so there is, implementation of these climate action plans that needs to be done more and more. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much to all of you, Sandeep, Jaya, and Anu, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your perspectives. Thank you very much.